The most recent government report on veteran suicide shows the rate is dropping. But in 2022, the VA still put the average at a grim 17 lives every day. A symbol of the ongoing battle against military suicides is captured by one elite group of veterans. They just gathered last month here in Knoxville. The yearly tradition of the running of the Mogadishu Mile marks a historic tribute and reunion for military veterans in Knoxville, exactly 30 years after a bloody battle overseas.
And these opportunities are about healing and also meeting the people you had no idea had such an impact on your life.
3 decades after he was wounded in the fight of his life, Army Ranger John Burns, for the first time, reconnects with the man who pulled him off the battlefield, fellow soldier and rescue helicopter pilot Scott Johnson.
I've done a lot of great things over my career, you know, John, but I think the greatest thing I've ever done in my life is pull these guys out of battle. I really believe it.
Yep, God bless you. Thank you. Love you too, man. Heck.
In a catch and capture mission targeting an African general turned warlord, U.S. troops in 1993 would endure the largest loss of life in a single action since Vietnam. 18 Americans died during a gunfight stretching across 2 days and memorialized in books and the movie Black Hawk Down.
You told me on the phone you think that reunion saved lives.
I do.
Why do you say that?
Because during the planning process, 2 guys that were on the ground that day saw fit to take their own lives.
The suicides within Task Force Rangers started not long after the battle.
Mark Lumen was the first one who killed himself.
Mark lost his best friend in Mogadishu and a few years earlier had witnessed the deaths of fellow soldiers killed by friendly fire.
I think it just got to him, the pressure so fast. And when he left the Rangers and he went to a training unit, it wasn't 6 months, and Mark Lumen was the first person who definitively killed himself way back in 1994.
Tragedy bookended that loss almost 30 years later, just days before the reunion in Knoxville.
His name was Chris Milliman.
Chris Millman at the back end. No more Marks, no more Chris's. That's your goal.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, stop the hemorrhaging, we have to.
You think more of your fellow veterans on Task Force Ranger have taken their own lives than who died the day of the fight?
So in the Ranger point of view, there's been 4 definitive suicides and 2 questionable. And we had 6 die that day. So at this time, it's at least as many, I think, from the Ranger House.
Gracious God, we remember and give thanks for those who have given their lives in the service of our country.
At the memorial service honoring fallen troops killed in the Battle of Mogadishu, John Burns paid tribute to their sacrifice and veterans who have since taken their own lives.
Freedom indeed has a price that protected people struggle every day to truly grasp. When I spoke at the memorial, October 3rd, I reminded them that we were individual soldiers until the firefight, and then you become a family. And just like in Somalia, no one's coming for us. You know, it was us. It's the same thing in this situation. We're the only ones who are going to be able to stop the hemorrhaging, to fix the problem. We got to do something different.
And you think this may be a good start?
Oh, I absolutely know it's a good start. One thing is everybody got to exchange numbers again. They know where each other's at. They got to look each other in the face. I mean, Scott and I have never met, and this weekend we met.
This Army Ranger turned passionate man of faith makes a point of reminding anyone who will listen his fellow warriors have hearts, and those hearts break at different times in this fragile life.
But I've learned human nature is you never know what steps they've walked every day in their lifetime and what's finally caused them to break. I just know if you spend more time around them and they trust you, those chances of them breaking become less and less.
If you need help right now, you can call or text the Mental Health Crisis Line 988. You can read more about that historic battle 30 years ago right now in the Service and Sacrifice section of WBIR.com, and we'll be right back.